So if you press new patient, it brings up your patient data input screen. What you will need to do at this stage is by pressing F4, which will search the patient data and bring up our current work list. So at the minute it's searching the patient data and then it gives us our choice. If we go down the list to select, and then again it's not a case of enter, you have to do F1 to select it. So if you F1 to select that, at the minute obviously it's brought up these set parameters. Home Office S2 is what we keep on there because this is the name of the kit and the X-ray. What we'll need to do is change the physician to our name, so the name of the person that's going to be screening. AFR and our AFR numbers. So for myself 004 and then my initials SD. If we then F1, that will save that. So obviously now it's put our data on. The body bag number is as is, the URN number, our name's on, and so we're ready to go from there. Okay. So then we can move on to the kit. Okay, now it's just a case of going through the workings of the image intensifier. If we just start with the locks, I think the locks are reasonably self-explanatory. They're coded according to each of the locks. Again, they're twist on and twist off. So just by releasing it, it will allow you to, standard locks. In order to move up and down the table, you need to lift up the handle, pull it to the side. That will then allow you to move the intensifier up and down. By pressing it down, you will lock the wheels in place. When we actually go to screen, we can either do it by foot pedal or we can do it by hand switch. So it's a case of whichever's most easiest for you. You can only use the foot switch for the first 2 screening protocols. If you're wanting to do the single shot, you can only do that from the hand switch. It's possible that you may wish to use the hand switch if you're standing with you scribing for a pathologist. Otherwise, if you are on your own, you might want to use the foot switch. We've got arrows up and down, which will of course allow us to move the whole of the unit up and down. Okay, you've got on and off switches on here, as well as on the cart as well. To zero your screening time, and to obviously to stop the alarm as well. Magnification and half dose. Our different screening parameters from this side will allow you to select between continuous, pulsed and single pulse. The debate will be as to whether or not you stick it on continuous screening or whether or not you use pulse, and I think you'll have to see that because it depends how much lag you're going to get, whether or not you stay on a pulsed. The other debate of course is whether or not we go on half dose. Dose not being a major issue for our body, however it is for us. So I think it's going to be a matter of viewing the images to see what the quality's like as to which...
bumping up if needs be.
If necessary. We have a KV stop here, so should you need to, if you're getting too much flare, you can lock the KV to one that's appropriate. And then obviously you can up and down it if you're finding that you're getting a lot of flare from the image. Collimators in and out, collimators rotation and iris collimation. It's probably safe to assume, I think, that these are probably a filter as well as a collimator, so probably iris collimation and then shutter filters. This next bank of switches here we can just disregard because this is if we were actually doing a radiographic exposure, which we're not going to do on the image intensifier, so we don't need to worry about that at all. If we were going to do anything like that, we would do it over on the Dragon, the standard digital piece of equipment. Over here we've got the reversal of the image, so we need to make sure that we select this correctly. We believe that the best setup is going to have the image intensifier at the bottom because you'll be able to get that closest to the patient so that you get your minimum magnification. So in which case what we're going to need to do is to make sure that this reverse arrow is switched on. And that will allow us to make sure that the image is orientated correctly. These here as to whether or not to select the left or the right hand monitor when you're viewing the images and moving through them. We've also got rotation of the image on the screen here, so we'll just use these small arrows to bring the image around. This next bang here we can again disregard because this is to do with subtraction, which we're not going to be doing any of. This section here is quite important because this is like our standard organ programs. So the top one here is obviously if we're doing a child or if we're doing small parts. So if we're doing lower limbs, upper limbs, so just very small sections. The next part obviously is going to be slightly beefier because we've got obviously the pelvis, the spine and the skull. And then we've got an area here for torso, which again I think will allow us to reduce the flare by using that program if we've got air in the lung fields contrasted by the heart. Here we've got the ability to save an image. If we were screening using the hand switch and we decided we wanted to do a last image hold and store that image, you can store it using this switch here.
So would we do that if we saw an artifact or something on the body, we'd save an image automatically?
Yes, as we're screening down the image, we see something of interest and save it. This will allow your images on the screen to flick from monitor A to monitor B, and we can flick between those two. So we have a metal and a soft function here, which obviously could be worth considering that we might need to use these. If we're screening a body, see something larger metallic, we might want to allow to make sure that the image is of optimum quality. And the same again if we were, say, screening parts and there wasn't too much bone there and it was mainly soft tissue, by selecting this function it would improve your image quality. This will allow you to change the contrast on the images that you've saved. So if you need to do that, then you can do that from the screen and you can do it from here. If it's easier, you can actually use the foot switch. This one on the left-hand side here is the screening function. So whichever program you've got here,
that activates
this, and then here is your save function. So as you were screening with the foot, you can then just hit the save and that will do that. Unfortunately, using the paddle here, you can't save an image if you're just doing single shots from here. You can only save using the hand switch.
Right, okay. All right, yeah.
So that's what, and all that information is in the manual, so it does explain that in better detail. Okay.
Good.
Right, what is essential to realise in this situation as well is that we need to make sure that the whole of the bag is covered. So in order to do that, we're just going to make sure that we have to tuck all the ends in, because there could be important evidence that's located in the spare parts of the bag that might overhang the side of the table. So to the very best we can, we need to make sure everything's tucked inside. If that can't be attained, then what we'll have to do is screen as best we can and then move the body to ensure that we get coverage and overlap. Okay, Matt, so what's important now is that as we screen down the bag, we need to make sure the whole of the bag is covered and we've got overlap. And we just need to chart whether or not we see anything of any importance. So if I screen, you tell me when you see something, we'll stop and we'll take a snapshot of that image. Okay, so we'll go on continue screening now. Okay, so we'll just start to move very gently just down the bag. Just get changing of the image there. You can see the edge of the table there.
Yeah, I've just got a few ribs there by the look of it.
Yeah, that's right, okay.
Yeah, you're all right now.
Okay, keep going
hang on
there.
a minute.
All right, okay.
Do you think
what have we got here? Yeah, what's that?
You just hold it still a sec.
If you chart that.
It looks like a pair of spectacles or something, I think.
Yeah, what I'm just going to do is just to store that image as well. Okay.
And then I need to mark that on here.
And then you can chart that. That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, in the anatomical position that you've seen it in.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
And then straight away, so we keep going again. So keep screening and going down, just making sure that we're in a nice straight line. Make sure that we're not drifting at all. If we do drift, we'll need to just stop and make sure that we continue to see the overlap on the bag. Okay. Does that look like some kind of weapon to you?
It does, yeah.
Oh yeah, I think that's safe to assume we've got something of interest there, haven't we? So I'm just going to store that one again.
Just under the right shoulder.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
Still going straight in a minute. Anything else there at the minute now?
No, it's normal.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to go right till we've seen the end of the bag there.
Okay.
Just to make sure that we haven't got anything evidential lurking in the corners.
Okay, well that's pretty
Nothing
normal.
of importance there. We've hit the bottom of the...
Yeah.
Okay, so what we'll need to do now is just to take the lock off, move the intensifier across. Obviously not too far because we'll need to make sure that we've got overlap.
All right.
Okay, and then we're ready to go again. So Holding and
Ready?
screening and go. Oh, what have we got there? Yeah.
It's like a...
Okay, oh
you
yeah,
got
that looks
two
highly
unused
suspicious,
rounds
doesn't
there.
it? Yeah.
What's going on there?
So just going to store that
Okay.
one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Normal.
Okay,
Not
still-
sure about that. Do you think that's
Oh,
a previous
yeah.
fracture there?
Yeah, definitely. That's worth keeping,
Right,
that one.
all
So
right.
if we just store that image there again. Okay, so screen again, and
Yeah.
we'll keep on going there.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, that looks okay.
okay, keep going, yeah.
Yeah.
Just making sure we get right to the end.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're at the
Okay,
end.
yeah, that's the top of the table there, I think.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yep, that's done.